Yeah, so I can see it on this.
Go ahead, sir.
What up? What up? This is your boy Big Ruck,
Brother Los.
Brother Ron.
Brother Jam.
and we are the Daily
Daily
Smoke,
Smoke.
folks, and we are here for episode 105, man. Thank y'all for being here, chilling with us, man. This is gonna be the sex episode, man.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wee.
you know, we gonna get it all in, man. We gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk serious, and we're gonna get a little raunchy. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk
No
about
holds
sex.
barred. Y'all know how we do, man. We finna have fun. We finna have a good conversation. So please feel free to call in if you ain't scared. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Ain't no need
We
to be
got-
scared. We can't see you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We got 3 special guests tonight. So we finna have some real good conversation, man.
Absolutely.
So everybody sit back, chill, roll it up, blaze you something,
You know.
pour you something, eat you something, whatever you wanna do. Just make sure y'all chill, man. And if y'all ain't already tapped in, just subscribe. Make sure y'all like and share and all of that. We finna get it in, man. So how everybody doing, man? Everybody good?
Man, I'm good, bro.
Good.
That's
I'm
what's
good.
up.
Doing
I'm
real
still coming
good.
off that high from our 100th episode celebration.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
We
man.
busted 1,000 for the
Yeah,
first
Yeah,
time.
man.
no,
I appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate y'all so much, man. We hit over 1,000 today, man.
Yes.
Views on that thing.
That was nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
I
yeah.
tell you.
Shout out to that boy Lavelle.
There's a lot of
You
them
know
part
what
of
I'm
his
saying?
people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shout out to Kev. Shout out to Professor J, man.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate the
My
support.
take on that was okay. A good portion of that was Lavelle because he did it
Yeah.
for us before. Some had to be Professor J's. Some had to
Say
be
what,
his.
say
But a
what.
good 300-400 had to be ours, man.
Right.
Our
Oh
own.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That had to be
For
our
sure,
own
for
people,
sure.
man. Which means we're really getting there. And
Yeah,
thanks to you
man.
out there,
Absolutely.
man. You're supporting. You're watching. That's
Oh,
what we want.
and shout out to OTW, man, because they always back. They always supporting, dog.
Mhm.
Yeah, always posting.
We got to
shit
have 'em
and
on here, too,
supporting,
one day
man,
again,
saying,
dog.
yeah, oh yeah, you know they got an open invitation. They
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
So shout out to Bree and Art, man. They up in Miami right now partying.
Yeah.
Monday was Art's birthday,
That's
man.
what's up. That's
yeah.
what's up.
So yeah, they up there doing it, man, doing it big.
That's what's
Yeah.
up.
So what's been up, man? What's been on everybody's mind, man?
Man.
Sex.
Right?
Get ready for the show.
For
Sex.
real.
That's all we think
Yeah,
about,
yeah, definitely.
You know. You got the little books out, you know, got the little
Right.
Sex Kama Sutra, you
Right?
know,
You can't even read.
Six
Got
games.
you-
All I
They
need
got,
is the
they got
pictures.
pictures in there.
That's
You
all I
can't
need.
read, they got
You know?
pictures.
Right.
Like, oh wait, you
Pictures
put your
on
ankle
it.
like
You
that?
put your
Okay.
leg, look, according to this, baby, your leg got to go that way,
Right.
and then I come in this way.
It's like, no.
that.
You need it at a 45-degree angle.
Right.
Otherwise, we gonna break something.
You know, I mean, I can read, but I know numbers. You know, so yeah, but other than that, man, just, hey, like we said, we're still high off of last show,
For
man.
real,
man,
man. That was a
Good.
good show, man.
That was
the energy was crazy, dog.
that was definitely an enjoyable
Yeah,
experience
it
for
was,
real.
man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, let me ask y'all something. Y'all remember when Lavelle mentioned the voters' rights issues?
Yeah.
You guys been keeping up with it?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it somewhat.
I haven't
Do you
studied
know
it.
what's going on? Because I still haven't done enough research on
Okay,
it.
basically, from what I understand, they have these 2 voting rights acts that they're trying to get pushed through, and the holdup is there's basically a couple of senators and who are not willing to do anything to help the Democratic Party pass these voting rights act.
Okay.
We got the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and I can't remember what the other one's called right off the top of my head. But both of those basically are trying to counteract some of the shit that these conservatives, Republicans are doing on the state level.
Okay.
Because basically the Supreme Court then gutted the original Voting Rights Act that gave us the right to vote in the first place. So all the protections, there was a thing that they used to have to do. I think it was called pre-qualifying. So before like a state like Texas could change any of their voting laws, they had to send it up to up to Washington first to basically say, is this okay for us to do this? And Washington could say, no, this is gonna cause a problem, XYZ reasons, you can't do that. Well, now that has been taken away. That got taken away a few years ago. So now you got all of these Republicans in power on the state level who are passing all of these restrictive laws. Either like in Harris County, like we only have one drop box for mail-in ballots and that kind of stuff.
We like the
You
biggest
know,
county in the nation.
We the biggest county in the nation, but we're also the minority.
Right.
Oh, really?
It's like
So
Detroit.
they want to cut down that voting access in places like this, and these voting rights act that are pending in Washington would potentially stop those.
Wow.
But you got Christian Cinema and what's your boy Manchin, who are basically, because in order for the Democrats to get these passed, they would have to kill the filibuster.
Okay.
Even if they just did a carve out where they said, okay, we only going to remove the filibusters for voting rights stuff.
Okay.
They're not willing to do it at all. They're just like, no, we're not going to change the filibuster. But then you have to ask yourself why.
Okay.
Because they're getting money from certain donors who really want what the Republicans are trying to do.
Right.
And so they're not voting with their own party.
Wow.
Because of the money that they're getting on the backhand from certain donors.
So this is a federal thing, not like a I thought it was just Texas.
Well, Texas is one of the examples because they've passed some of these restrictive voting laws recently, and so that's one of the reasons why Texas is involved. But it's really right now in the Senate, and so now you got a lot of senators, a lot of congressmen who are up in arms because they're like, wait a minute, y'all are supposed to be Democrats, you know, and this is not just the Democratic agenda, but this is President Biden, who is the Democratic president, his agenda. He's pushing for this. He recently came out over the weekend and said, we need to reform the filibuster. We need to do something about this. But these two senators are holding it up.
Really?
It's just down to two people. And it's the silliest thing in the world, man, because there's no reason for them to be opposite to it. And then your girl Christian Cinema gonna come out this weekend, of course, because it was not this weekend, Monday, quoting Martin Luther King. Oh, we want to celebrate and honor Martin Luther King, but he was all about voting rights, and you're holding up voting rights for the majority of the same people he was fighting for, and he was specifically against the filibuster.
Gotcha.
But you steady standing in the way, but you want to quote him on his birthday.
Wow.
You would think that since our country was formed and all about the voting, that's one of those things that cannot be changed. Ever.
You would think. But the
This
Voting
is what
Rights
it
Act
is.
is just an act. It's never been made law.
So they can keep
So they can literally throw it out if at some point if they wanted to, and say, okay, all y'all who got voting rights under this act, nah, we don't need y'all voting no more.
Wow.
But it's still an act, and it's just been renewed I think it's like every 5 or 10 years or something like that they have to renew it. But ever since it was originally passed, it's just never been made a law. So it's like, why haven't y'all made this a law yet?
Because, we might lose next time and I got to change it for my favorite next time around. That's why.
Maybe so.
Like they just did now. They lost, they change it.
In what ways does this new law or whatever they're trying to pass or not pass or whatever, how does that affect minorities in particular?
It would remove a lot of the restrictions that these states are trying to do. So say, for example, like with the Texas thing, as far as the one drop box and stuff like that, for a huge county like Harris County, it would get rid of that. One of the things that the John Lewis Voting Rights Act would do is it would redraw districts. And they wouldn't be these gerrymandered districts. They would be computer generated, so it's going to be equal based on the population. And that's what they don't want. Another thing that it's going to do too is get a lot of the dark money out of politics as far as the campaign side of elections. So it's going to make it won't necessarily get the money out, but it's going to make it so that money has to be reported publicly.
Wow.
And so you will know who's actually donating to these candidates and how much they're actually getting to these, giving to these campaigns. So that's two of the major things that I know about. I'm sure there's some other things in there that I don't know the full details of, but it would definitely be a good thing if they could get them passed, but it don't look like it's going to happen because Manchin and Cinema won't let it go through.
I thought when they formed the super PACs, man, about 10 years or so ago, that's what the loophole was, where you could have individuals to give inordinate amounts of money and not have to be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of saying, hey man, I gave the Koch brothers, for example, I gave Bush $3 million. You know, they don't have to account for it once they put in the super PAC, and the limit on that super PAC has no ceiling. So I thought that's how they would get around that.
Exactly, but that's the thing. That's one of those loopholes they're trying to close now.
Really?
Yeah, but of course you got so many politicians who really don't want it done.
Really?
So right now, even though Manchin and Sinema are the two names that get thrown out there,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't for them, there'd be a couple of other Democrats who would step up and say, "Okay, we don't want this." And when you really break it down, it's all because they don't want that money to stop flowing in.
Wow. It's always money.
The financial incentive is too great for them.
Always money.
Always.
Oh, of course.
Always.
That's what it all boils down to. America's an oligarchy, man. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Agreed 100. Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Thank you for breaking that down, man.
Like I said, that
Yeah,
sums it
appreciate
up
it,
for
man.
me because when Lavelle mentioned it, I remember how Texas redrew the shit.
Yeah.
So I thought when he said, let's go do this, I thought, well, wait, is that something to fight what they did or to agree with what they did? And I thought it was just a Texas thing. I didn't know it was a national thing.
It's a national
You
thing
know, so that's
because
what,
Texas is
explain.
not the only state that's doing stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
You got a lot of these states where the state government is run by Republicans, like in Georgia. They're getting people into positions of power in Georgia who run the election, who are supporting Trump's big lie about the last election.
Uh-huh.
So if you believe that the last election was, stolen in some kind of way, then you're probably going to be willing to cheat in the next one.
Right.
And that's what you're really getting down to.
Right.
And to me, it's Democrats fighting against their own self-interest. Because if y'all let these Republicans get away with it, y'all not gonna win any elections in these states ever again.
Yeah.
Because the laws are set up against you.
Yeah.
Now you can literally poll watchers can literally go harass people at the voting booth. They can stand over your shoulder while you're voting. That's one of the laws that they passed here in Texas.
Wow.
I thought that what you had to be was private.
Oh no.
That's the same
But
where I can't
that-
give you food if you're in line.
They can't give you
some
food,
water.
but if you're a poll
Right.
watcher, then you
But I
can
can
stand
do
over
that.
somebody's shoulder
See,
and
that's
just
what-
be like, who you voting for?
You know, and that's when they get elbowed. Fuck up, bitch. I'm gonna vote for it.
But
That-
Who you voting for? I'm voting for the opposite.
Exactly. But
What was your
Texas,
question? I didn't hear.
Isn't it voter intimidation?
Oh.
exactly. But Texas has made it legal.
Wow.
But I can't give somebody in that 90-degree weather a drink of water.
Yeah.
I'm not
Wow.
intimidating them because that's why they want to stop it. So I'm like, you thirsty?
Right.
Yo, man, who you voting for? I'll
But
give
that's
See
the
how
thing.
desperate that shit is?
that's what I'm saying. They want to make sure that they win. That's all that shit to me is illegal. Like, come on, man.
You would think.
And we're letting it go.
You would think it would be obvious, and it is obvious to the people who are keeping up with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are we having such a hard time fighting against this?
Yeah.
These things should be no-brainers.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
like we shouldn't even be arguing about
Mhm.
voting rights no more. That shouldn't even be a topic.
That should be a done deal.
That's what
But like I said,
That's
because
the
they
law in
won't
place.
they won't turn that act
Can't
into a
change it.
law. It's all up in the air. It can change at any minute. Literally from one year to the next, we don't know if we'll continue to have the right to vote because they could literally throw the Voting Rights Act out.
That's beautiful how they set that up. That is absolutely.
It's like they
beautiful.
knew all
Do you
along.
think they're gonna
Yes,
ever
yes.
give up that power? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
That's beautiful.
Dude,
That's why they set the Supreme Court like that.
listen, man. The bottom line is this: if you really wanted this shit to be equal and free and all of that shit, we wouldn't be having none of these conversations. So I'm not surprised that nothing these motherfuckers do. They consistent, if nothing else, dog.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you.
They
I'm trying to
consistent.
tell you.
That's crazy. But hey, like I always say,
I like that thinking though.
if I'm the leader and I'm running things, you do what I say or get the fuck out.
The methodology of
You know,
getting the shit done
pretty
the way
much.
they want to get it
I
done.
think it is absolutely brilliant
Of course
the way
it
that
is.
they're trying to set the
Always
trying
brilliant.
to stack
That's
the
why-
deck against them.
Come on, man.
That is absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant.
We,
And we didn't even see it coming when he started messing with the Supreme Court nominations. We
Right.
knew they were getting more conservative,
Mhm.
but we didn't really know what the end game was.
Right.
And he really picked up from where Bush Sr. started it back in 2000
Yeah.
when they first started doing the redistricting or what have you.
Mhm.
We had that problem
The-
then.
But
Wow.
reshaping the courts like they did, because you got to realize it's not just the Supreme Court;
Absolutely.
it's even the state level courts.
Absolutely.
They've stacked it with so many conservative judges that even if you come into a state, even if say the Department of Justice come in and want to challenge some of the Texas laws, you're gonna have to go through the state courts first
Yeah.
before you can get to the Supreme Court,
Yeah.
and those are all conservative judges. So they just gonna
Yeah.
shut your case down every time.
Ooh,
If you
that
try to
was
say, "Oh,
beautiful.
this voting law is illegal," no, it's not.
Not here in Texas.
This is chess, not checkers.
But that's why I was telling you the other
Exactly.
day,
Yeah.
we should vote for the Supreme Court people. They should not be appointed. We should be the ones who appoint them.
Supreme Court should definitely be elected. That should be
You
a
know, and
position
not a
that
lifetime
nobody
position.
assigns.
Yeah.
But that's a whole long ways down the road.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the privilege of you making me president. You're giving me the right to pick whoever I want.
Yeah.
That's one of the perks of me being president.
They're trying to get one of the judges to retire now because he's older, and they're scared to do another. They're scared that another RBH situation is going to happen where he dies or something like that, and then it's a Republican president. They're like, no, man, just go ahead and retire now so we can get so I can pick your replacement.
Right,
So,
right.
but from what I understand, those conversations are going on behind the scenes, but nothing's come of it as far as I've heard.
Doesn't that don't matter anyways? Because Obama didn't get to pick his dude.
Yeah, he did.
He did, but
Yeah.
he did get. Because I remember they were saying, no, we're gonna wait till after the election, then we pick him. Like he gets a chance to pick one. Goddamn.
No, Obama never got because Obama's guy was Merrick Garland. He's now head of Department of Justice, but he never got his Supreme Court appointment.
Right.
The chick wasn't his.
Mm-mm.
No, they wouldn't let
No,
him.
they never let him get one. Because they told him don't do it because we're right up on it. We're in the same year as an election.
Right.
Now, mind you, I want to say at the time they probably had like 7 or 8 months before the election was held, but Trump appointed a judge 3 weeks before an election,
Right.
if even that much. It might have been 2 weeks.
Right.
But when Obama was in, oh no, you can't appoint a
can't do
judge.
that.
It's too close to the election.
Right.
But when Trump was in, you appointed a judge 2 weeks before the election.
Who brought in the Hispanic lady?
Sotomayor.
Yeah, Sotomayor.
Oh,
Wasn't that Obama in his first term?
That's what I thought.
that might have been Obama in his
In
first
very
term. But he was trying to get Merrick Garland in there, who's now, like I said, head of the Department of Justice.
Okay.
But he was trying to get Merrick Garland in there for his second term when they came and opening up on the bench.
Wow.
But yeah, they wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him do it, and then turned right around and did exactly what they said you should never do.
Right.
But that just goes to show you the Republicans don't play fair, man.
No, they do not.
They do not play fair.
They don't play fair, and the Democrats is pussies.
Yep.
But they paid to lose. That's the problem with the Democrats.
That's a pussy.
They are paid to lose. The same donors that donate to the Republican Party donate to the Democrats, but they donate to the Democrats to not do anything. When you think about it, Biden has been in office now for a year now, okay? So he's been in office for a year. What has he really done? He got us some stimulus checks when he first got in, okay? He did some advertising for the vaccines, okay? But what has he really accomplished?
Right.
Nothing. He passed the infrastructure bill that was a corporate handout. The actual infrastructure bill that would have took care of daycare, that would have done all these different things for the common man, that's been put on the back burner. That's been shelved because the same two, Manchin and Sinema, won't vote for it. Oh, I can't agree to that. That's too much money. It's too much money. Now, mind you, the original bill was $6 trillion. The original proposal was $6 trillion. They whittled that down to 3. Then once it got past the House, the Senate whittled it down to 1. I think like 1.6.
Yeah.
1.6 trillion.
Yeah.
And you can't. And Manchin, Joe Manchin himself, when the whole conversation started over a year ago, he proposed 6. But when it came down to time to vote for it, and it was down to 1.6.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't do that. That's too much money. It's gonna
Wow.
cause inflation.
Politics.
Nigga, you proposed 6.
But I got a check for $2 million in my bank that tells me to vote against this shit.
Wow.
Because a lot of what was in that bill would have been part of the Green New Deal as far as like reforming our energy and stuff like that.
Right.
This motherfucker owns a coal mine.
There's no way I'm gonna vote for that.
How is he gonna vote for it when you own a coal mine? It would have allowed us to negotiate drug prices for Medicare and Medicaid, but your daughter is the CEO of a pharmaceutical company. How you gonna vote for that?
That should be a conflict.
You would
Should
think,
be.
but nobody talks about it.
Right.
You don't hear that on the news unless you're somebody like me who keeps up with politics on a regular basis just because you find it interesting.
Right.
You don't know these things because they don't talk about it on the mainstream news.
Right.
Like, I get why QAnon people are upset because when you think about it, the media does lie to us. It obviously lies to us. It doesn't tell us everything we need to know. But at the same time, y'all went off on a deep end with some of that stuff, you
Yeah.
know. But the reason you don't trust anybody is because you know you're being lied to, and then you've taken that and run with it to an extreme.
Wow. Man, thanks for explaining and breaking that down, because we didn't, at the time, man, we just really didn't have a firm grasp or understanding of it, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
I know problem.
Thank you so
Hopefully
much.
somebody out there learn a little something about it and go vote when it's time to
Yeah,
come. Because
Absolutely.
I think one of the
Or call in and give your 2 cents about
right.
it.
If you got something to say, we would love to hear it.
Yeah.
Because if
Absolutely.
not, he mentioned pussies earlier, and that's what we talking about today. All right, and some dick too, so called. But anyways, yeah, we talking about sex today, and you know we got special guests coming, so
Absolutely.
let's get it on.
Well, we go ahead and introduce
You
our
know?
first guest, man. That's what.
Most definitely. Go ahead, man. Do the honors.
All right, I'm gonna bring my homegirl on here. This is my sister. Love her like we real family. My girl Tamika Collins. Welcome to the Daily Smoke.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank
We
you.
had to have females on. We couldn't just have five talking about sex.
I know you, bro.
You know, we couldn't just have that.
Right
we got
on
another
time.
one coming through right,
Right
on
on
time.
time.
I want to introduce her
Right on
too.
time.
Right on.
And
Right on, money. Come on
the
in.
What
other
is
guest
happening?
is here.
Come on in. We were trying to introduce everybody. You just came in right.
Came
on
in
time.
right on time.
I know, right?
And I slide in like
Right.
that Oakley.
She heard the intro music coming in.
You know,
All right, my
they
bad.
had to let her out. You know, wardrobe said, "Okay, you'll go." Right on cue.
That's what's
Had to
up.
get the makeup ready and everything.
Makeup and everything,
Perfect
man.
time.
Wardrobe, everything got to be straight.
Right. Hey now.
The deal is.
Give me just a second. I'm all unprepared.
You are fine, darling. You are just fine.
What do you say your name is? Tamika?
Yeah.
You need anything? You want a drink or anything?
Oh no, I've been over
You
there.
You good?
All right,
Yeah.
no
Are
problem.
you done with it, or
If you want a drink, we can fix you
want me to
one.
bring it over to you?
It's good right now.
We
What's
not
happening over here? You can grab
In
what's
this
in the
space.
ashtray.
Oh, we gonna light one of them too? Oh yeah, I got one myself. Shoot, this,
Oh,
if we
I'm like,
smoke here, we
you
gonna
know.
let you. We gonna let you.
No, I'm
we
just
gonna
telling you,
let
you can grab that. You smell it going by.
I'm telling you, so yeah, that's right. I floated to it.
What's up, Miss Angela? How you doing?
Hey,
Yeah,
I don't
right,
think
right.
I'm in the shot.
No,
No, you fine.
Yeah,
You
we
fine.
just a little delay.
You
in
good?
there.
What's
Yeah,
up,
that's
man?
on a little bit of a
What's up?
delay,
What's
so
the
you
deal,
got to
homie?
give that a couple seconds to
And
catch
really
up.
no introduction needed.
Glad
Everybody
you're
know
here.
who this is.
Yeah.
What goes down?
You know, everybody knows who this is.
Now, how can we have a sex episode without Miss Angela? on
Well,
here?
Right.
it would be pointless. and
It's
you
not
have
gonna
to
make
do
much
it again.
sense.
We still got viewers recovering from the last time you was on the
Oh,
show.
okay.
She blew some minds with the
Really?
stuff she was
We
talking
got a lot
about.
of compliments for
Oh,
that
yeah.
episode. Absolutely.
Hey, listen,
Absolutely.
that was just a little piece of my heart and frustration bottled up in one. I
Some
thought
of the
I'd share.
conversations we've had.
Right.
Yes, exactly. You already know.
Share with the masses. Share with the
Right.
masses.
That's what's up.
Got all them women over there arguing with them men after the show.
Right.
So,
No, it
That
just said
sound-
this.
like, wait a minute. That sounds like some shit you do.
You're right. Come watch this show. If you pee on your ball.
Man. Hey, dog.
You still think about that?
All right.
Oh,
Say
damn.
anything.
oh, okay.
If you gotta wipe yourself because you might get chafe, you have an issue.
Baby,
Bad,
Can't
that's
fuck
rough.
with you.
Trying to
and
comprehend
it's
that
not
the other
much
day.
of anything that you could.
You gotta remember front to back. That's a
Don't
problem.
for yes,
Right,
front
right,
to back,
right.
front to back.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Wipe yourself.
She said front to back.
You gotta
I
wipe
mean,
yourself.
and what it is, it's front
You
to
gotta
back.
wipe yourself. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
it's
Yeah, man.
issues if y'all do that. No.
But they always the ones that give you the most problems, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I be like, oh my god,
You
I'm
do not
already
have-
sacrificing and enduring,
Look,
right? Because
if
you're
it
a
ain't-
nice guy.
Look, plain and simple, if it ain't good, you have no right to raise your voice at me ever.
Listen,
You're gonna have to be.
have-
You're gonna have to be
You can do
putting it
it.
down correctly.
You do not have the right to raise your voice at me.
I mean, you can do it. I'm not gonna listen,
Again,
but you could do it. I mean,
I mean,
that's
you
so
can
weird.
do it. You just don't have the right because it's nothing that you can say that's gonna make me okay.
Right.
I saw one of those, I don't know what they call them, the little thing, little reels on TikTok or something, where the girl was talking about, yeah, if you ain't big and all that. The dude said, okay, well, in the men's size, if you're,
Oh, yeah.
don't talk that
so
shit to me
it's-
either.
If you
know?
if you
You
damn
want
bat
big.
cave up in
Right,
there,
so it's like, so
You go down there and you're like, hello.
Boy, it was a TikTok I saw the other day where a boy was just like, it was like he fell down off in there and there was two other dudes like, where you at? We in the pussy. What you talking about?
Gotta get you to throw some rope.
Dog, what's going on?
We was trying to ask you for help and you done fell in here with us.
No.
That's why your condom came off. We were trying to hold on to it. And it slipped right off. Damn.
Oh,
You can't be providing safe harbor in your
Yeah.
in your vagina. You can't be a storage unit.
Right.
You gotta do right. Sometimes,
Yeah, it's a
especially
problem.
like in your single season, I'd like to say this to my seasoned women. If you are in your single season, baby, let it be. When she come back, when she come out of retirement, you don't need, listen, hear me good. Where the camera? Lord Jesus.
Right there.
Hey, hear me good. If you could get a reprieve, a rest, timed off, take it and do your Kegels every day.
Every
Yeah.
day. Daily.
Yeah.
The
You
Kegels
can write
is daily.
You can write your ticket.
Muscle control. Muscle control.
Put that snap on them, huh?
Muscle control is important.
snatch it up.
And you can run with these children.
No, them children can't run with me.
Then you
I
can
know
run
what I'm
with
doing
these
at this
children.
point.
You run with these children. Yeah.
See, and your children don't know
I
what
love
they
to
doing.
see this.
I know what I'm doing at
Told
this
you.
point.
I told you.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. When we young, we get with older women so that we learn, so that when we get with the younger women, they know what to do when they older, and then they teach the younger.
I'm trying to tell you.
It's
It's
a
a
circle.
cycle.
It's the circle of
But
life.
it's not also just. But it's not also what you think you're teaching us. It's about learning your own body.
That's
and
right.
learning your own life.
That is
Absolutely.
facts. That
And,
is facts.
and what's good for you and what
Absolutely.
turns you on. That is what matters as females. You're taught to, oh, it's just so nasty. You can't. No, boo, learn yourself.
Mhm.
Learn what you like, what's good for you. And when you learn what's good for you, you learn how to tell him what's good for you.
Right.
Now,
And
when-
that's the important part.
that's
Well,
the-
and
Speak up.
You know,
Yeah, you have to not be afraid of that. Though.
You have to wanna
got
speak
to
up.
not be afraid
Yeah,
to say.
yeah,
Because I will tell you in a minute, I got cheated in this process. I'm not happy.
absolutely, and you should. You got that
I'm
right.
going to
But
tell
see,
you, I got
and-
cheated.
And from the
Right.
stories that I hear from women, not enough women do that because too many dudes walking around here thinking they God's gift to women
Nah.
and ain't doing
They
shit.
ain't king date. No, they're not. It's no.
Yeah.
I
I
know.
You hear the
It's-
conversations all the time.
All the
dog.
time.
I'm gonna tell you.
Women be going in, dog. Like
I'm gonna tell
Way worse than
you.
us. boy.
Way
I'm
worse.
gonna tell you there.
Yeah.
In that moment, ain't no, we not leaving. That's what. That's stupid. That's foolish. And I just think you retarded if you done spend all that time sweating and shit and carrying on, and you haven't gotten the opportunity to get yours. And I just think, say, man,
Job ain't done.
I gotta tell you, we'll never do it again.
See,
I mean, I ain't
See.
getting nothing out of that.
dog, that should go without saying, though.
You would think.
You know
You
what I'm
would think.
saying? Like, how does a man have sex with a woman and she doesn't get hers and you leave happy? Like, I
Have
don't
You
you
get
have to
that.
be,
I don't get that.
well, because here's the
I don't
thing.
get that.
When you're accustomed to not satisfying, it is not a priority. And women should be able to, I'm a pretty good reader of that. So I can kind of tell through conversation if you are a giver and if you are a giver because, not because you have to be a giver. There's two different kinds of givers.
Because you want to.
There's two different kind of givers. There's a
Right.
giver who is supplementing something that he may be lacking, she may be lacking. Those givers give to kind of
Compensate.
steer you, to steer you away from whatever they are.
They're deficient.
Yeah, their deficiencies. So you look at that, and then you look at, the giver who gives because they get off on it.
That's the best kind. Because I want to.
The giver that give because they get off on the give.
Ooh.
And the whole, that's a whole nother ball game.
Trying to tell
And those are repeat visits, you see.
That's your unicorn. See, your unicorn is that one brother that no matter what, y'all might not even be compatible as a
I
couple.
know exactly what
But
you're
if you
talking
called this brother because you needed a tune up,
about.
that's your unicorn. He know what he doing, when he doing it, where to do it, whatever else, and y'all can be adults in a situation and going on about your business.
Yeah.
I know for me, communication. Tell me what you want. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, I'm gonna tell you. Then we done. You
That's
know?
fucking
I'm gonna
hilarious.
try.
I'm
I'm gonna try
sorry.
my
He
best.
said if I can't.
If I can, I
see.
can.
Right.
Look here, baby, that's outside of my scope.
If you
And,
if you demanding 3 hours, I'm not your dude. And I'm gonna tell you that up front. You know, you got about a good 30-45 minutes, and that's gonna be the show for the night.
I'll take it slow.
But I'm gonna make sure you enjoy them 30-45 minutes.
Let's communicate. Tell me what you want.
Oh,
Hey, man.
Lord
I was
Jesus.
fortunate enough, man. I when I was younger, I dated a few older women when I was younger, and learned, like Ron was saying, I learned a few things, and it opened my eyes up to the possibilities of what could be done, especially when communication was open and you could talk to the person and they really listened to what you were saying and you listened to them. And so because of that, when I started dating women my own age again, it was like, oh wait, you know, you doing all of this extra. That's not extra, baby. That's basic. We just getting started.
Yes, God.
You know, let me show you what else we can do once I get you to where I'm trying to get you, because your head ain't right just yet. You know, and it was those kind of situations that came up for me when I was younger that made me realize a lot of brothers really don't know what they doing.
Just want to get off.
And it's sad because it's like you would enjoy yourself so much more
Absolutely.
Right.
if you made sure your partner was taken care of.
Absolutely.
It ain't got to be simping. It ain't got to be, you know, any of that. It's just you doing it for your pleasure, because if she's there, she gonna make sure you good. Trust me.
All you gotta do is do your job. All you gotta do is do your.
But a lot of people don't know what their job is.
And enjoy doing
but-
your job. If
but-
you enjoy doing your job, you gonna do a better job, dog.
Like
and
she's-
women
Yes.
respond to that.
And
in
let me
all
say something. A little bit of
types
encouragement
ways.
goes a long way. Can we talk about that? A
Let's
little
talk,
bit, just
man.
a
Let's
little
talk.
bit of encouragement. Don't be scared to say right there.
Right. Right.
Stop, hold it.
Stop.
Let's stay in this region.
Just like that.
Right.
And if I tell you right there, that don't mean start up fool. That don't mean try to go crazy. I said right there.
You know, if we in the zone and I'm there, the best part is when you ain't gotta tell nobody you in the
That's what I was
zone.
about to say.
Because they
They
know
know.
they
And
got you there.
And they know your body. So they know what's happening before you have to say something. And you ain't gotta say right there, dude, listen. Oh,
That's the
Jesus.
one you
But
pay
it's
me.
good to
You know
hear
what?
right there.
You
though.
know what though?
You
The
know.
thing
But
about-
I'll give you right there. I mean, I'll tell you, say, man, don't, I mean, I'll tell you, I ain't got no problem with it. But, and I prefer that type of communication when nobody don't, when there's no inhibition, when
Right.
everybody is like all in.
Right, right.
And
right.
like, you can just say what you want to say and feel
Right.
how you want to feel, and then that's just that.
That's how sex should be, period.
Absolutely.
Anything
Yeah,
less
though.
than that is
Absolutely.
like, why are you doing
It
it?
is so pointless.
You know what I'm saying? That's the shit I don't understand.
That's what I used to always say, when we go in that room, you want to swing off the rafters? Let's do it. Everything goes up in here. Let's do it.
Whatever,
If we
man.
enjoying it, let's do it. Let's have a good time.
And then sometimes
Smiling, big
explore
time.
not,
Let's do it.
And that. I mean,
explore not in the room. What I am learning.
cars can be.
Well, okay. I was a bit, back in the day when I was younger, I was a bit of an expeditionist, so I didn't, I just go for it, whatever. It's called cool. Let's get down.
Right.
But you know, as you get older and you realize there are cameras everywhere,
Now.
you know you pull up on a lot of that. But I don't ever want to get to the place where
That's
I'm resigned to
spontaneity.
just the bedroom, and you lose the
spontaneity.
the just the spontaneous nature and what that does to a relationship,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how it correlates sex to the relationship, and it keeps it from getting to that stale place, right? Because
Right.
I'm gonna just be real honest. How many different positions are there? I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how long you've been fucking. There are only a certain amount of sexual positions that you're going to do, that you can do, that you ain't on repeat on already. So, especially if you almost 50. Okay, and nobody don't ever want to do the math. I might finna age myself out, but fuck it. Here's the deal. Like, most people lost their virginity in their teens.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I lost mine at 15. So you going from 15 to now 50
Right.
and been fucking.
Right.
Let's just go and put it out there. You've been fucking
Say
all
that.
that time.
Yes.
So let me just say that in all of that time, it has not changed. It has not changed.
See,
It has not changed.
you're right. You're right. You
The
went
the
somewhere.
base of what sex is
Yeah.
has not changed.
Right.
The only thing that's different
Mm-hmm.
is what you bring to it.
Right.
But the basic structure
Right.
of fucking
Yeah.
is
You know what I thought you was
still
about to say?
the same.
You know what I thought you was about
What?
to say? You've been fucking all of that time, and you're almost 50 now. You should be really good. at what
I'm
you do.
amazing.
You would think.
I'm
You
amazing.
understand what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie.
I would
I got
really
damn
good.
and
See,
and
that's
but-
where I thought you was about to go, but you
well,
went
I
somewhere
mean,
else.
again, I'm almost 50, so if you got to at 50 be running around telling the world that you're good at what you do,
Right.
then it's
It's
an
a
You
issue.
see, yeah. Yeah.
So I
Then you ain't as good
necessarily-
as you think you
Facts.
is.
Facts.
You got to
Facts.
toot your own horn. It's a problem. I
I'm
don't-
56, and I might scare you coming my
But
way.
what do you say? What do you say about somebody who is almost 50 and they're not good at sex,
I'm
man
sad for them.
or female?
I'm sad for
They
them.
may have not had a lot of sex.
You missed a whole lot.
That's,
You know what?
that's-
That can actually go into so many different facets, honestly, because I think, just in my opinion, for females, it would usually, at that case, be more of a mental thing due to, or emotional thing due to something that may have happened to you
That's true.
when you were younger, and you never got a partner or met somebody who took the time to get in your mind. I don't care what anybody says. Sex for women is more mental than what it is physical, because if you can't get off in my mental, I'm not gonna get off.
Right.
In all honesty.
Yeah.
The older you get, the harder it is.
I would agree with that after a certain age.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because
in my older years.
Where we don't want to talk about it quite a bit, like women's libido is just as high as men.
Higher.
And that's what I'm
Oh
just
no,
trying
at
to
this
say.
point we
And
way
when
past
we
it.
in and
Oh,
we're
you
in,
think-
and everybody always think it's,
I was
they
just
don't
gonna
happen.
say
It doesn't
that.
happen until you become like an older woman, right? That's when you get this great gift from the heavens, and your sex drive goes out the roof.
Right.
And that is true, but some women get the gift of it being the case, period.
Yeah.
And I've never not had a retarded drive, right? And so never I acted on it like a lot because I'm picky, but outside of that, because I don't like wasting time either. Like
Right.
you get, you know, I'm a quality over quantity kind of
Right.
girl. So you know, but understanding that women have extremely high libidos, right? Extremely high, and so we want to, you know, it ain't no cheering watching, so we want to fuck, like we do, and And I don't want to talk about it either, because I'm just tell you, man, if I ain't in love, don't be, gazing at me and shit and all that
Say word.
extra, moments and shit. Like,
Trying to hold your hand and
Leave it where it
intertwine
is.
fingers
Like,
and all that stuff.
it was so when it was so emotional and heart
like,
wrenching.
what the fuck you doing, dog? We not doing that.
Yeah, when
like,
you was in
what?
love as a teenager. At this point, it's like, okay, I know you out for some ass. I pretty much just
Right,
want
like,
to
you want-
let's get this done.
And I know, like, everybody can't just get all extra aggressive and shit. I appreciate that. But, like, bruh, don't lay on me and breathe down at me.
That's her daughter.
Like, what the fuck you doing?
I just told my daughter not to watch tonight.
Somebody daughter what?
I'm saying, like,
Look, I have always been very straight with my
I am too,
kids
sir.
when it
I am
comes to
too.
sex, and I mean, I'm talking
I'm
about
very
just
straight
a
with
straight.
them.
No,
Yeah.
this is
Very
what it
straight.
is. It ain't
That's what it
yes.
do.
These are the proper names
Oh,
as
yes.
you are a child
Oh,
and
yes.
you're growing. Well, once you got to the point to where I know you smelling your ass, and you about now we finna have some real conversations about what it is, what it do. That's why
Yeah,
she's
that's
30.
absolutely
She a
right.
college
Yeah.
graduate.
That's
She don't have
absolutely
no
right.
kids, and she here doing her thing.
Yeah,
But I was the
as
same way
as
with mine.
As a father, though, like I talk very candid with my daughters about sex, everything, but I don't want them watching the shit that I'm gonna be talking about tonight. That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna be reliving his BVD days. How about smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
Oh, no.
listen. But it's, like I said, it's there are a lot of parts to sex. There's a lot of
Interest.
Now, I would say that at this phase in life,
Mhm.
that it is, and only because, I ain't nothing I wanted to do, I ain't done. So, and I have an issue with people who live their life filled with restrictions that they place on themselves.
Agreed.
And so if it is in fact something that you'd like to explore it, do your thing. You going around one time. I mean, what
Right.
you gonna? And if it's not your thing, then it's not your thing.
Right.
Nobody says try stuff, that
you don't want to do.
right. But if it's something that you're interested in, and there's some things that you want to try it. I mean, try it.
What's the worst that's gonna happen?
Try
You know
You're
what?
either gonna love it or you're not gonna.
Interesting you said that, man, because we have like a bunch of questions and stuff, so we already having a good conversation, and half of some of the shit y'all done already touched on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm learning.
Um,
Listening.
Right?
So, the first question was something you touched on a few minutes ago, and I know this when I first read this question, I was like, it sounded kind of shallow, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, nah, because it's a lot of facets to that. So the first question was, does good sex matter more in a one-night stand or in a lasting relationship? Now think about why I asked that. In a one-night stand, you might just want to get a nut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or in a one-night stand, you really want to enjoy some real good sex with somebody because you're not getting it at home. So just getting a nut may not be good enough because you just get a nut at home or with your significant other, you know, or your hand if that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? In a relationship, it can be, because think about it, you have people who are in long relationships, right? And they love each other and they barely ever have sex.
Don't say they do it, man.
I don't either,
Don't say
right?
they do it.
I don't either.
Couldn't be
I
me.
can't.
I
I
don't either.
can't.
But even think about older people, right? Older people, they still love each other. You think they don't look at each other or look at other people and still think they're attractive, and you know what I'm saying? And but they hardly ever have sex in a lot of those relationships, right? But they still love each other. So how much does it really mean at the end of the day? But on the other hand, I guarantee you in most of those situations, the sex was really good in the beginning of the relationship, right? So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Here's
It's a
the-
lot to
We
it,
figure
man.
to some
And
people,
marriage
sex
sex-
might not be all.
Marriage
Just
sex
loving
is
somebody.
different, and it falls in a different category because you don't know why the person got married, right? And if the person married for love, then there is a bond that's created that's gonna be there, period. So this is my homie, this is my friend, this is my whatever. So it doesn't matter. I'm just kicking it with my people.
Right.
So when we do have sex, it's just an extension of the kind of relationship that we have. But in those cases where you married for survival, then sex is a duty, and duties are never performed with passion.
Right.
They are just done,
Good point, sis. Good point.
right?
Good point.
And so you're gonna do it. You're gonna do what he asks for, but it is going to feel like trash, and you are going to not be emotionally connected, and it's just gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad, and you're probably gonna have a whole lot of problems in terms of natural fluids, right?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be dry as the Sahara because you're not connected. The two aren't connected.
Your
so
body
that
ain't.
your body's not gonna give you anything, right? And it's just that, especially if you're bored.
And in a relationship, I'm coming with you because I plan on being with you for a long time, so sex is not the first thing I'm thinking of. Yes, I want to have sex, and I know it's good with you, but I plan on spending the rest of my life with you, so sex will be there, but more important is I want to make sure I can get along with you, like you said, because when we do have sex, it's going to be good.
Right.
Because I know the bond we have. Ain't going to be no Sahara up in this bitch. You know?
Right,
See,
and
the
but
question. See, remember the question is, does sex matter more in a one night stand or in a lasting relationship? Okay, so what if the sex is not good? Because you saying I know it's gonna be good, but what if it's not?
I wouldn't have married her to begin with.
But what if?
I mean,
What if?
if it changed?
But what? Right? Or y'all were friends. You know what I'm saying? And everything about the relationship is so wonderful, and you want to marry her. You fall in love with her. She fall in love with you. Y'all so cool, right? And then all of a sudden, now y'all in a relationship, and you have sex, and it's not good.
Can't deal with that.
But
Gotta work
it depends on how
I'm gonna be
much
real honest,
that
I'm a
sex
Christian.
sex means to one, or that physical gratification means to one
Even
party
if
to
that
the
would
other.
fuck up the friendship,
listen, we gonna quit.
right?
We're gonna break
I'm
up.
sorry.
We're not gonna go
Yeah.
together no
That-
more.
But I mean, that depends on the person you are.
Right.
Some people, sex is not a big deal to them, period.
Right.
And they can have that kind of relationship. Me myself, it ain't no way I would have been with my soon-to-be ex-husband for 25 years if there was not something, not only an emotional but a physical element in it, because I'm a sexual person.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just is what it
And
is about
I just
me.
think that you're right. I think it's an individual thing. That question is kind of
Right.
It's
it's a
Right.
very individualized kind of what your preference is
Right.
type of question, because there's no point in a one night stand if you ain't finna go and get down and leave
Right.
leave
So
it
that's
all
the
But
big
but
one.
but
On
that's
the
flow
but that
and on
exactly
home.
what you said. That's your perspective, because you got some people that go out there and they have one night stands just to bust a nut because they don't get sex, or maybe that's just what they like about sex and they don't care about the other person. You know what I'm saying? Getting theirs or not. They just want to get that nut
Yeah.
and,
And I was
be
gonna
out.
say, too, as far as the relationship thing is concerned, like the example y'all were talking about, as far as being friends with somebody and then you start a relationship, but the sex isn't good. Well, that would depend on why the sex isn't good.
Yeah.
You know, what was it?
Change.
Was it that you might be inexperienced? Maybe
Right.
maybe you haven't had a lot of sex, so you don't really know
Exactly.
your body. You don't
Right.
really know how to please somebody else. You don't know these things. Why was the sex bad?
Right.
That would make me have to, I would have to look at that before I could analyze the situation and say, well, there's no hope here.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
Right.
because in your journey,
Because the sex-
it's
because
Because the
flawed.
sex is important. I can't front.
It's
That's
true.
Inspiration
I'm
is
out.
part
right.
of that whole
That's important.
process.
But if it wasn't good, I would have to look at why it wasn't good,
Right.
and then say, okay, is this something I can work with? Is it?
Can
Are
we work
you?
it together
Are
as a
you
couple?
teachable? Is this something that I can help you learn? And then from there you kind of have to base your decision on what you're gonna do.
So,
Yeah,
you
if-
gotta
And
work
And
on
so,
it. You can't
because
work on
I'm 49, and we talking about in the present,
Yeah.
I'm not finna work with you.
Say word.
I'm not finna work with you.
I can't lie. I mean, at this
I'm
point
not-
in the
I'm
game,
not-
at
I'm
my
not.
age, if I'm dealing with somebody in my own age range,
Right.
it's like, okay, brother, you should know something at this point.
Hey,
I
cool.
shouldn't have to take you through school.
What if some women might say, they might say some shit like, I could train this nigga, make him exactly what I want.
Some
Who the fuck
women
want
might.
y'all?
We ain't got time for that.
That's why I
You
said
spent
some
all
women.
this time talking
That's
about
why I
all
said
year
some
out.
women might,
All
but I
year
ain't got
out.
time for that.
All year out. I don't
Some women
have
might
time
want
for
that
that.
at
But
this
see,
point
that's
in
why
my
I said
life.
some women.
But like I
Some
said,
women do
Now I
that.
might have to show
Right.
you what I like.
Right.
Right.
And if you can't do it,
But trying to train you in this whole
But if-
process.
if
and
you don't have
keep
some of the
coaching
basics
you,
down-
if you ain't got some
If
of
you
the
ain't got-
basics down, we got a problem, bruh.
if you didn't go there,
At this age range, and I'm cool, but
insert
I ain't
pole
lying.
A into
It's-
slot
I'm
B
not finna
if you don't
fool
know
with somebody
that.
my kid age that I gotta take through school sessions and all of this because you want to be little Mr. Fast Pumpity Pump Hoppity Hop. I ain't got time for all of that. Let me get a mid-range brother that still got him a good sex drive and some willingness to understand what I need to do, but I need you to have some understanding at this point because I ain't got time for school.
But then, like I said, I have to also understand that I am a 50-year-old woman. And so a 49-year-old woman. I'm not going to run past this year. But what I want to say is that, like, what's the City Girl song? Ride It. What's the song they got out now? This City Girl song they got out? Somebody knows. Someone of y'all
I don't
know.
listen to the radio.
I don't either, but I saw it on these clips. And it's this song where they talking about riding it like a rodeo or some
Wanna
shit.
ride it?
Man,
and
how
then-
many songs
and
you
you
heard
know-
All I
that
know is
shit?
broke babies. That's all I know.
What?
Broke babies.
Don't
I
tell
heard
me.
that shit.
Oh, you haven't heard
I
that?
haven't heard that one.
Absolutely.
Throw babies. You're like, what are these kids doing nowadays?
Girl, they been
Dropping out kids at the daycare,
Listen,
okay?
it ain't nothing new. That's not no new experience. They just renamed it.
Right, that's all.
That shit
It's
up
not new,
different.
but you had just, going off on another tangent with that, you have to admit, and that, cause see, I'm right there with you. I'm just made 47. So at this point, back in the day when we was coming up, you was the slut. If in the school, if anybody
Somebody
found
found out
out that there was anything going on orally at that point, oh
Yeah,
no, my
yeah.
God.
You ain't lying about
And
that.
at that age range, back in our day, now it's like, oh well, that's just a part of that. That's like kissing, French kissing
But you know
at this
what?
point.
But you know
It
what?
depends
Also, back in
on
those
where
days,
what you were exposed to. I went to
back in those
Persian,
days.
so
see, also back in those days, if a dude,
and
if
milk.
somebody found out that a dude ate pussy, he got bagged on just as
Yeah,
bad as
he
y'all.
got bagged
on.
He didn't get called a whore. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
He wasn't a slut, but at the same
but
time,
you
Yeah.
get- you gotta
You
be
Like
nasty,
it was,
man. Don't be drinking my
big
$40.
thing.
That
Yeah,
whole kind of
stuff
stuff.
like
so-
that.
You know what's missing.
until you
Right,
get it, and
right,
you're like,
right.
man,
Like,
I never
no.
forget, man. I never
No.
forget one day I was chilling with my brother and his homeboy, and they both like maybe 5+ years older, right? We were sitting there, and I had just finished hanging with this little chick I was messing with, and I came out and I sat down, and his homeboy asked me, he said, "Did you eat the pussy?" And I said, "Dog, I ain't putting my legs. I say I ain't putting my mouth down there between that bitch legs. Are you crazy? I say, nigga, I remember exactly what I said. I say, nigga, if my dick can't do it, it's not getting done. Right? He looked at me and said, "You young, my nigga."
Yeah.
He said, "Watch.
Because
Just watch what I tell you."
You wash your face with the pussy.
Man.
Right?
Yeah.
Man.
But I had heard
You
something.
trying to stick my head in
years
that
back.
motherfucker.
Right. A few years
I
back.
sure hope my daughter.
Nigga fall, nigga.
Right. I'm bald down. You should cut the locks off.
Hearing about these young kids, I had read some a few years back that a lot of the young girls were doing anal so that when they got married, they would actually still be virgins. When I heard that, I'm like, that's what these young kids are doing nowadays. But some of them were doing that. They would give head or let you have anal, but don't mess with this because I want to get married as a virgin. But I still had sex, but not that. And this is what they were doing. When I read this at the time, I think, man.
But if you think about it, it's called anal sex. You're still having sex. You're not a virgin.
but not here. So that man's gonna be the first in here.
And the thing
I
about
get
being
it.
a virgin also,
It's strange to hear that.
it's breaking the hymen. Your
hymen
ass ain't got no hymen.
But the hymen can break even without that.
But not to be funny.
But she would know that I've never had a dick up in here, so you're gonna be the first guy. I saved it for you to marry you.
Actually,
that's what they were doing.
When
but
I
you
pull it,
saying,
might sound like a whistle.
You
but
know,
it's
wow.
I'm gonna have to tell you, whoop, wrong place. Remember, I'm a virgin. It's tight.
But I'm gonna take you back. In all honesty, in regards to that, some people think it's new, but quiet as kept, because that's something that's actually been done and was called the forbidden love, all the way back in Africa.
Really?
Before slavery. Because especially with the fact that they would do what you call it, but basically,
the female circumcision.
Female circumcisions. That's a cool.
That's some horrible stuff, man.
Wow.
But with doing that, because that was so painful and it was sewn up even smaller than where you're barely able to pee.
Wow.
That's it. Once they do that and sewn it up, so back then that was known as a forbidden love then, because that was more comfortable
for a lot of the women after
for
they went through that.
than to even then they have regular sex.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it's not new.
Hey, I got another question. If you are in a marriage and your partner feels that they want to step out with your consent and your assistance if you want to, and they're completely upfront and honest about it, it's never cheated, but you are aware that they have a high sex drive, you know what I'm saying? Would you allow it? And if you did, would you join in? That's on a male and a female question. That's for both parties.
Ladies first.
Absolutely.
They always answer. Nah, fuck that. They always answer first. Y'all two niggas answer. You answer it. You ain't answered nothing.
I ain't got no problem with it, brother.
So answer.
No,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm answering it. I don't have a problem with it. Because if I can't please my woman and I know she has needs and I can't supply those needs, she has to do what she has to do. I ain't tripping at all, period. You know, I'd rather you do that and I know what's going on. And we had an open line. The only reason you're stepping out because I'm not doing my job.
Exactly.
So I got nobody to blame but me.
Right.
So that's just where I'm at.
Exactly.
At least bring that nigga back so I can watch or something.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
You know?
Yeah, I don't want to see
God
it.
damn, I know you safe at least, baby, because I
Now,
can't do nothing else. I'm on something. I'm not gonna let her do it. Fuck all that. Divorce me. You got to leave me. I'm
on that page.
Because
To
I'm not
me,
gonna do that to
But
you,
don't you
so
set
you got to
yourself
leave
up for
me.
getting cheated on?
You know?
see, but here's the
No,
thing.
I would rather tell
I
you
would
to
hope-
leave me. Just
I would
leave me.
hope we would have that same open communication, but at the same time, let me know if that's really that big of an issue and it's not something that I can fix. Then I don't want to waste your time anyway.
Right.
I'd rather let you go
Right.
than try to make you stay with me and you're not being
But
satisfied.
what if she really loves you? She's not trying to leave you. She just want to be satisfied.
Get that, but
Then we go
for
back
me
to it.
personally, I couldn't cut for that.
toys.
I couldn't cut for that.
I-
Now,
See, I don't know if I could leave a woman that's that honest with me, dog, because that's what I like. I like.
I
honest
get
Well,
that.
women.
but that's what you like. Me, I'm not a good sharer. When
right.
it when
I
it
don't want my
comes
girl
to
going out
someone
fucking
I'm
dudes and
that
coming back to me.
emotionally invested in,
Yeah.
I'm not a good sharer.
I
And I know that
Right.
about myself. I plan on being just with you. So, and I ain't gonna lie, I might not. Back when I was younger, I may have entertained the idea, but dealing with and going through life, as I have at this point, and understanding the intricacies of jealousy, and feeling like you're neglected, and you're not being given the full attention or whatever else. With some people, they good with that, or they good with sharing that. When it comes to my
What
mate,
if it has nothing to do with any of that?
when
It's
it
just
comes
the
to
fact
my
that sexually,
again,
you're not appeasing that man or that woman.
then you need to
or
go
that man is
find
not
somebody
appeasing
that's
that
going
woman.
to give you that
But
total
they
package.
don't want to leave that person.
You need to go find somebody that's going to give you that total package,
So you would
or
leave the
you need
person
to
that
work
honest.
with me
So you would, but
to get to the point to
Yeah.
where I am doing something or doing
well,
to
this
the
is
point
an
where
extreme. So you know, this
anything,
is
my
at a
mouth,
point
something.
where you've obviously tried that, because if they're honest with you enough to tell you that, I'm sure that they've tried to talk to you if you're insufficient.
Right.
But it doesn't even mean that you're not handling your business. This person may just have a high sex drive, and now they're not being fulfilled by what's going on between the two of you. But they don't
You knew
want to,
that when you
and they
got
don't
married,
want to,
right?
and they're
You
saying,
knew that when you got married, you changed.
and
why
they
you
don't
do that?
want
Changed the
to,
contract.
they don't want to leave you under no circumstances, right? And
yeah, if it's under no
You got
circumstances,
to go.
then that sex is a circumstance.
true.
So-
if you're
so-
going
so-
to, if it's a problem with that, if the other things that I give you as a whole are not enough to amount to that,
Only
then
sex is
I
the
love you
motivation.
enough to let you go
Right.
and find something that will give you that
Go
whole.
for it.
Can I ask
Now,
you a question?
that's just me.
right.
Now, other people, other women, and even
be
at
okay
some
with that.
point in my life, I may have had the mindset,
Because
I
I'm
did.
I'm
25 years of
actually
marriage.
Think
I
about this
am.
though. If you really love that person, number one, you're saying that, I think you're saying that because you're thinking about the situation. But imagine being in the situation with the person you're in love with. You're not going to be so easy to just let that person go because they're asking you something that you don't agree with. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it, because it'll feel different. Right now, you're just like, oh hell nah, I wouldn't even be
No,
in that
no, no.
situation. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm
because that's the
saying
way
this.
you automatically
Yeah.
think.
But I'm telling no, it's not the way I automatically think. Again, as I said, it's due to my life experiences.
Okay.
I was with the same man from the age of 19 until 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that was from 19 to 45 years old.
Mhm.
And, you know, he chose to leave for whatever, you know, for his own reasons. And I'm not mad. I can't be mad at you at that. But during the course of a 19-year-old going to a 45-year-old woman, and you know, you're an adult at 19. I'm grown once I done been through some things in my life, and I see. I was put in those situations to decide whether or not that was something that I wanted to do. I thought on those situations and explored those thoughts, and when put in that situation, realized for me, hell no, it's not going to work. I thought about, I could give you, I might even be able to do the free pass thing at one point
Right.
in my life. Well, okay,
But ain't
if
that what we're
somebody,
talking about?
no, because see, you're not
That's what we're
just
talking
no,
about.
no. A free pass is a one-time thing that
But that's
happens.
what we're talking about.
We're not. No, you
No,
may
no.
have seen like
but you
this.
seem like
Said
you're
no.
talking
You're
whatever you want to
you're
Right,
saying
right.
that
Did I-
you're
That's the
not
one-time
in a
thing.
hole.
Because why
From
would you
the
only do it
question,
one
from the
time
question,
and
the
then
way
what
it
about
was
5 years
worded,
from now?
I wasn't looking at this as a one-time
Me
pass.
neither. It was like,
Okay,
this is what I
so-
want.
I can't satisfy you. I should be able to go and get it
I
whenever
just
I
said
want.
if
Yeah,
you're,
no,
I got
Exactly.
something to add on that one.
That's
so I
how
just
it
said if
works.
you're in a marriage, if you're in a marriage and your partner feels that they want to step out with your consent and or your assistance and completely upfront and honest and has never cheated on you before, but you're aware that they have a high sex drive. You may not be.
You're
They're
not
they're
gonna
not
So
step out.
being
that one
fulfilled
time
sexually.
is
But
not
that-
going
yeah,
to
one time ain't gonna
satisfy
fix that
if
problem.
you're saying that you have a high sex drive. That
Okay.
one
But
time
see,
is
this
gonna
is
do
what
it.
y'all. But
Yeah,
see,
I gotta
this is
step
what
in on
y'all.
here.
This is what I think y'all are missing, right? This is what I think y'all are missing. We're talking about two people who are in a marriage and love each other,
Right.
right? Right.
So you're looking for a
so
platonic
this
marriage?
person that's trying to step out doesn't mean that they're trying to step out and keep doing it. They are just saying.
But it's addictive. It is addictive.
But
That
it's wrong
excitement
also.
of somebody
Remember
new
what
is
you also
You
addictive.
just
wrong.
said you have
You're
a
not
Russell
telling
Wrong.
me
sex
I'm
drive.
going
You're
to
not gonna
get
step
this
out
all
just one
out
time.
of my
Exactly. It's
system
not gonna
at
be
one
one
time if I
I
have a
disagree
high
with
sex
that. I think
drive.
it's the person then.
That
It's the
one
person.
time
It's
is
the
not
individual
going to
person.
It's the
satisfy
person.
the whole
That's
Let
an
me
thing.
tell you,
individual person.
if-
Because if that person
if
is
I
honest enough
am-
to tell you, and then you let them do it that one time, do you think they're not gonna be honest?
Look,
I
Let me
just
just say-
Don't you
They
ask
may
her
be
again.
honest to
Don't
say
ask her
that I
again.
want to do it
Let
again
Amy
because
talk.
you're
Let Amy
still
talk.
not
Let Amy talk.
satisfying me.
Go ahead, Amy.
in the way I think, I'm with you. I don't share. I don't share well with others at
I
all.
think that's
At all. But
I feel you.
but
though,
if I am in a mental position where my husband is saying, you can't satisfy me, can I go somewhere else? Or if I'm saying, I know I can't satisfy you, you can go somewhere else, I'm in a depressive state. You actually doing it is going to make it worse. You're going to make me feel worse about myself. You're going to make all my self-esteem issues come out. You're going to make,
That's
I'm
an
going to end up
individual
feeling
person,
depressed.
Yeah.
I think
But
it
it's an
affects me
individual question.
very
Question is
negatively.
individual.
But I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
associating sex with love.
Hey,
those are
oh!
totally
I
different.
couldn't help.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
what
Ron.
I'm saying, man.
Thank you so
That's
much,
why I
Ron.
keep saying.
That's
Oh, I was
That's why
about
I
to
keep
lose it.
saying.
Okay.
That's exactly why I
If we're
keep
in
saying
this
what I'm
situation,
saying,
because
man.
I'm not, for whatever reason, I'm not doing my job. That's why we're
Yes,
here.
man.
And you have certain body needs or whatever, and you have to do what you have to do. Hey, I ain't got no issue with that. Now, if you come to me telling me, hey, I'm starting to develop feelings or
Right.
whatever, now we got a problem.
Right.
But outside of that, I think sex and love can be
Totally
Ooh, they
separate.
have to. No,
Totally
and
separate.
But what about those
think
that don't
even
like to
stepping
share?
out
They're
just
not
one
trying to
time would
go
hurt
there.
my
They have to
self-esteem.
make up their mind.
That's
That's
what
what
we-
But-
that's what I'm saying. That's why
Oh,
me,
let me say this, and this is just a
Go do what you're doing.
This is just
a-
I made up
Now
my
talk
mind.
over each
yeah.
other.
Yeah, that's just me.
To me-
I know I wouldn't handle it.
I'm not gonna handle it well.
Okay, one, self-esteem is esteem of one's self.
Absolutely.
So one is responsible for his or her own
Right.
self.
Right.
So I can't then come into, and this is just my philosophy, then I can't come into a relationship expecting you to give me anything. If I'm not whole
That's what's
in
up.
this relationship, I don't need to be in
That's
it.
what's
That's
up.
just that.
Absolutely.
Or
That's
where
the
I
root.
am.
Right.
That's the root of it.
but-
Absolutely.
Right.
But if that is the case, and if you have two individual people that have come together and decided that they have something that is so genuine that sex is a byproduct of
Right.
that,
Right.
then and you say to me, because here's the deal. Let me just say where I am with it. I'm never gonna know unless you tell me,
Right.
because I'm not going to look for it. I'm not, and that's my rule. If it comes to me, you can go where it came from.
Yeah. Gotta be respectful.
Right.
You protect me.
Right.
I feel that.
You protect me.
Absolutely.
You entered into this situation with me. You protect me. The
Right.
end. So I don't need to talk about it no more.
Right.
I don't talk about cheating. I don't talk about affairs. I don't
Right.
talk about none of that.
But you feel it though when it happened, don't you?
Listen, I feel it when it happens, but when it happens, and it's something that I felt, and it was something that's the only way I feel it is because you didn't protect me from it.
Right.
There we have the problem.
Right.
There we have the problem because there you broke the bond with me.
Right.
There you broke the covenant with me.
Right.
And so therein lies two separate different things. I don't give a
Right.
fuck who you fucking.
Right.
I'm gonna just tell the whole truth. I really don't. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm busy. I got shit to do. I'm moving and shaking, and I got stuff I got going on, nigga. I swear to God, I'm not calling you every day. And it ain't because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Baby, I swear, but I got shit to do.
Right.
And then I'm going to sleep. So, and so, no, on the real low, I'm going to bed. And then I'm going to get up and then I'm going to go make this money. But the thing is, in that journey for me, I already know that there are some holes that are going to happen in terms of a relationship. I know that. I know that, so I have this conversation up front. It then becomes a matter of respect and not a matter of anything else.
Right.
And if respect is not there, then we don't have nothing, no way. I don't want to fuck you. I don't want to do nothing with you. Now, if you over all of your emotions and over here setting up house and, you know, y'all over here doing this, that, and that can happen, but that was going to happen whether I gave you permission to or not. That's the point. Like, those situations are going to happen because that's the way life intended it to go.
You can respect somebody for anything, though, but you can't protect them from anything. You can respect them to the highest level, but you cannot protect them for anything. Why you can't protect them totally 100%, shield them from that, or shield them from the hurt if you're emotionally attached to that person, and that's not you, is because you can't protect what the next person will do.
So then
I have
what
been
you do,
someone who has had to deal with the fact of this shit is left on my doorstep. This was left on the back of my car.
she didn't have
Even
as much to lose
with-
as him.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't have. That's him not
Exactly.
protecting again.
You don't screw
Back
with
to him.
somebody that ain't
You
got
didn't
that.
protect
If you,
me.
But hey,
You didn't
you
protect
can't
me.
control. You can
didn't-
be
yeah,
somebody.
oh yes you can.
You can't
You
control
can
the
sit that.
situation.
You ain't got the same
control
thing you
what
got.
another human being
Oh.
will do in this world.
You can if she got as much to lose as you.
You can't control.
still
But
might not care.
even at some
They might
point,
not care.
Then that's
Somebody-
the wrong one. Y'all keep missing what I'm saying.
but
What?
there is no right one because levels
Yes,
change.
God, there's a right
No,
one.
no, no.
That's what he said.
Levels
If
change.
you want to do that, you
Yes,
weren't
it
the right
is.
one, so go ahead.
Yes, it
If
is.
you and then if you
Yes,
want the
it
right
is.
one, you go.
Oh,
Because
yes, it
levels,
is.
the
Yes, it
levels
is.
will change.
Yes,
She
Then you
could have
don't
been
deal
the
with
right.
her.
She could have been the right one at this
Right.
point.
Come
That's
through.
right.
She
That's
could have been the right one at
absolutely
this
all
point
day long.
because she had this
All
going
day
down. But once her
Absolutely.
thing over there ain't going right, and she feel like she want this, what she had over here is a better looking picture because that wasn't going right. You can't control that.
Yes, you
Them
can.
levels will
Let me
change.
tell you why.
Them things will
Because then
change.
you're a counselor. Then you're advising her on how to keep things fresh at home. You send her home to keep that shit fresh. You send her home with instructions on how to make sure he good, because if that house fucks up, your house fuck up.
Right.
And so if you ain't balancing the two, then you don't need to be
And
doing
so
it.
now
You
tell-
don't deserve to
So
be
you
able
telling
to
her
do it.
what to do. So you telling him what to do.
Yes.
You telling her nigga what to do.
She is making sure that you
Are
got your
you,
shit right.
Is he telling her nigga what to do? Or is he telling her what to do because she might not be able to follow directions on that point? She may not know what her nigga gonna do on his own side of the road.
That's true.
So she can't control
But-
him.
Right.
It ain't a goddamn thing you can do to control another person in this world.
You talking about emotional people. I'm not talking about emotional people.
But
I'm
that's
not
what I'm saying.
No,
If you're
no.
trying to bring the emotions of a long-term relationship into something to let them go and do something on just a sexual level, it depends on the person you are and what you feel and what you like and your experiences. My experience, her experience, I know I don't share well.
I didn't say
I
I
will
share
beat
well
your
either.
ass.
Oh no, I will
Not
fuck you up
her.
unrecognized.
Not
Go
her.
ahead.
That's not her.
Tamika,
And
you asked the
exactly,
question.
not her, him.
Tamika,
So I know
Exactly.
if you can't give me that, you don't need to be with me, and I don't need
But
to.
again,
Let me
I
ask you a
see. Okay,
question.
go.
Why do you have those feelings when you say you don't share well? What is it about? Well, why don't you share well?
Why don't I share well with another? Because when I feel an attachment to a man that I'm saying this is my man, it's me. Because I'm giving him my 100% focus, I want your 100% focus. Plain and simple. I don't need enough to worry, because see, if I let her step in, now not only do I have to worry about you and your emotions and feelings, I have to worry about her and her emotion and feelings. And plain and simple, bitch, you don't mean more to me. Not to my man. Not to this man that I am claiming. Now, hey, if this is both, hey, if he's a he-man whore, and we both in the understanding that we single, we having fun, we that's what we doing. Tap
So-
out, sister here. Check. That's
so
a good
let's-
dick. Go try that out.
Let's do this.
But if that ain't what we doing, if we're in a committed relationship, you mine, I'm yours, Everybody else can get the fuck on. Now, when I die, you decide to step on and go where you going, or I want to go where I go, then that's what we doing. We're adults, and we know how to go ahead and part peacefully and part cordially without a bunch of the drama and bullshit that comes with that. If you're grown.
That's why he distinctly said, like, if you're not doing your job and you talking to your mate, saying, hey, we can't do what we used to do anymore for whatever reason, you know what I mean? Can that other individual step out? As long as you have that open communication, I don't see how that could be a problem.
It depends on what level this
on the
is,
person.
and it depends on the person. Let me say this. Let me give you a scenario. Now, let me give you a scenario sincerely. Let's say if something happened, I was with this man. I know we enjoyed a healthy sexual life, and something happened where I was ill. I was physically unable to perform or do something for him to be able to satisfy him in one way or another. Then it may be something that I would consider, because I understand, because that's not something I can physically be able to do for you ever again, whether it was an accident, whether it was something to that extent, and understand that's our bond. You don't want to leave me, and I don't want you to go. Okay, hey, that's fine, but I can spin that another way and be like, say, you got a life that you can still live and go and be happy. You may have wanted to have kids. You may have wanted to do this or that, and I can't do that for you. So let me give you that. Let me give you that space to grow, that space to make your own decision, that freedom to be able to do that. But if you're going to commit to me, and again, this is on a level of commitment, not just, just sex.
Let me ask you this.
I can't. That's just not me.
Say you're in a relationship, right? And you're the one not being satisfied, but you were in love with this man, right? And y'all been married for however many years. You know he loves you. You never cheated on him. He never cheated on you. But now for some reason, it's just, you're just not getting it. You know what I'm saying? You're not being satisfied. And you want to step out and and be satisfied because you're frustrated physically, right? But you love this man, and there's nothing in your head saying you want to leave this man, but you need some.
That's just the scenario I just said.
What would you do?
What would I do personally?
Yeah.
If I understood the fact that is something that
you said you'd let him go, right?
If I loved him that much, me personally, and I understood that he would have a problem or he would have an issue with that, I'm going to stick to my vows.
But would you ask in that situation? That's what I'm saying.
Would I even bother to ask him? To me, at this point, I know him well enough to know whether or not that's something he would want. He would be able to deal with, or wouldn't be able to deal with.
Okay, I give you that. I give you that. You would,
So
but
you
you don't
ask,
think
but you
that
might not know
you don't
not to
think that
ask.
you would want to be, because at some point you would think about it, right? You would think about asking that question if you were in that situation. Pretty much every human would think about it. It's gonna run across your mind. Let's just be real.
You want me to be totally
Right.
honest with you?
I mean, that's how we do here.
You want me, okay, to be totally honest with you, me personally in that situation, you never motherfucking know.
That you're unsatisfied. Yeah, no, that would be right.
You wouldn't know you wouldn't know I was unsatisfied per se, but if I did step out, you'd never know.
And that's exactly why I framed the question the way I framed it in the
But
beginning.
that's what I just said.
But see, he's saying
No.
to understand this or know this freely. Again, I said that I choose to stick to my vows.
So
I choose to say that if that's not something he's good with, or I understand he's good with, then I'm going to sit in the place that I chose to be, because that was the vow that I made to you. But if I was of that frame of mind that I'm going to do it to where you don't know, or I'm not going to come to you with it, you'll never know.
That's what I just said. And that goes back to understanding that marriage and love and all of this two different entities.
Sex and love are two different things.
They are two
I
different
can love
entities,
you and I be
and they
in love with you.
have to be in my world. They have to be cultivated separately because people take somebody needing to get something physical for them as a personal assault. And listen, I have been on both sides. I'm not some chick that ain't never been in. I've been married twice, and they was about 10 minutes apiece. But it matters not. I did it, okay. And the point is that I didn't do it like this.
Yeah.
And my first marriage with my children's dad, when by the time we got to the whole, because I had gone through the ringer, and by the time we got to the tail end, and for the sake of the children, we had decided to like have this whole roommate situation.
Hold that thought, Angie. Listen up, man. We have went way, way, way over the time.
You know
So
what,
what we gonna do? We gonna keep talking, and you don't want to shut it down and keep recording. You just want to keep it going.
This going.
Everybody in agreement?
It's always
Bet. Let's do
Now,
it.
I went back quick.
Let's do it.
So I'm trying to
All right,
remove
go
all
ahead.
these fucking comments.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, finish the
Special edition of the Daily
Well,
Smoke today.
like, and we had a whole little at the end, like this whole little roommate vibe. So, but where the problem came in was he saw the freedom, but didn't understand the fallout on the other side.
Consequence.
Because the reality of it was you didn't expect me to do it. You didn't expect me to play too. And then, hey, I got in the game. And when I got in the game, shit got real.
Couldn't take
Yeah,
it.
because at first it was just real one-sided. Woohoo, my wife letting me run.
Yeah.
Hey, this shit right
You
here
don't
is
tell
the
shit
lick.
questioning me.
Right.
Wasn't you right there with me?
And then when I got in the game, I got in the game.
Right.
And I am an awesome player. And I
MVP.
but I got in the game.
Oh, she said, how about you marry the person you're most sexual compatible with and learn to love the person, but often the times the best sexual partner is a horrible
That is
life
absolutely correct.
That
That
is
is absolutely correct.
definitely a
Absolutely.
horrible decision.
Absolutely.
That's
There was
never a good decision.
There was a comment she
What's
made
up,
before
E?
that. There was a comment she made before that. She said, "Well, if it was hitting at one point in time, then you can get it to that point again.
Not
but a
necessarily.
person can't be the total package if you're sexually misaligned."
Listen, if you are vibing with the representative,
Okay.
the representative can hang in that relationship a hot 5-6 fucking years on you. And the representative get down. But then,
Get to the
you
real.
know, when you get to the real and you start adding life situations. See, a lot of people got the whole living together thing. They spend a lot of time not dealing with life struggles at the same time. Let me just say, I ain't never been able to get wet and I got a pink bill in my house. You a lie. You a lie. You a lie. I got a pink bill in here and I'm supposed to lay up. You got me whole thrown off. I'm not doing it. So it changes it, right? Because life situations have now entered. And so it fucks with your brain. If your head ain't in the game, you ain't finna be just willy-nilly getting down. Like I just got through washing your drawers, bruh. I just got through, and I had to work. And I had to hear you come hunching me. Bro, I don't feel like it.
I love the word hunching.
I mean, for real.
Nobody
if-
says
if
that.
my-
Bro, I don't
if you
feel
ain't
like
got
it.
If you
Like,
ain't got
man,
my brain there,
Like,
I
I
got
don't mean
bills
no
to pay.
harm. But like, okay, and my, I'm telling all my business. Y'all, my bad. If y'all see this ex-husbands, listen. It's over now. You've been with other people for more than 15 years. Let's be. Okay, so you know, like I'm like, okay, look. I don't mind, you know, I just don't like to, I can't do it all.
Yeah.
Can I say that? I have come to understand that I am not one of these women that can do it all. Okay? I am a trained chef. I can do it all, but I don't want to. That's a better statement, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to sacrifice have sex. I don't want to do that. So I'd rather deal with you when I want to deal with you and enjoy it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to have sex because you just want me to. Now, don't get me wrong. I rarely, never don't want to have sex. That's also a point that I should probably put in there. But in the instances that I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to feel like it's a personal attack on you. That I don't want.
When I don't want to.
Yes, that it's not rejection.
Not in the mood.
It is simply, this is not. But the other thing I wanted to say, to the point I was making earlier, is that when you have a relationship, that I say to you, look, I don't ever give a shit what's in your phone. Right now on my phone, it's not locked. My phone is never locked. I never lock my phone. I never lock my phone because I forget the code. Okay? So I never lock my phone. If you happen to go through my phone and you see all kinds of stuff in my phone, you better not never ask me about a damn thing.
You came to my phone.
That's right.
You came to my phone.
I'm never gonna hide it. But if you go through my shit and you misinterpret, or you read something that was not intended for you, that's an inside joke with a homie, that's a crack, or whatever, and you read it, and so now you done personalized it, and you done took it and ran. You can have your whole story. Swear to God, you gonna have to figure the answer out on your own. I swear to God, I'll die before I swear to God, I'll die. Whoever I'm fooling with now, look, I swear to God, I'll die.
Right there in the camera. Right there in the camera.
Right there.
Before I have a conversation about something you found in my phone. You can't find shit in something that belongs to me.
That's right.
By the same token, I'm not gonna do it to you.
Right.
Now, I will say, in this point, and again, being with somebody from the time of being 19 years old, it was something I had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was something
if you're looking for it, you're going to find it.
Right. Now, that was something I had to learn, and with the struggles of, again, going back and forth,
if
young
you
parents,
ain't going nowhere,
family and all of that. But once I
it.
learned them lessons of, you know what, if I got to go look and search and play detective and all of that, then you obviously wasn't meant for me. Because what I need to know and what I did need to know within those years came to me without me having
you don't got to never,
damn
no
thing.
coercion. It's going to walk right up to you.
The best stuff I needed to know came to me without me even looking for
it. But again, the excitement of all of that was something that he did not plan well for. My thing is, if that's something you already know that you're going to do, what messed up is not only me dating, but he found somebody in the same apartment complex.
Jeez.
Now,
you sound like something like you know what she talking about.
Now,
she talking about you.
Your lack of effort was what was insulting.
Whoo, baby! It wasn't
lazy
what you
motherfucker.
Did. It was how you did it.
You
and
lazy bastard. I done told you, run, nigga, run.
How you did it.
And you pick a bitch 3 doors down.
Across the way.
But that's why he said, y'all talk about it in his question. That's why he brought that up.
The way it is now,
that's lazy.
It ain't even
like
about
I
what
said,
you do.
like if your gig is to protect me.
How you do it. That dirty, that shit, the dirty dick. You want a dirty dick? You want to fool with somebody that's 3 doors down the street or whatever else, so you know this person. You want to screw a bitch that run in my circle.
These niggas be all up in your family. Y'all so lazy. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm just really stuck on the fact
lazy.
If you in a relationship with a person of marriage with this person and y'all that tight, and that motherfucker come to you that honest,
what more could you ask for?
what more could you ask?
What if she says no?
I couldn't
You won't
leave
step out?
a person that, even if I didn't agree with it, I couldn't leave that person. What do you have to worry about under those circumstances? You don't have to worry about nothing. You know that motherfucker is gonna be honest with you all the time. You cannot find that.
That's not, but
That
we
is
can't. But we
important
can't
to
agree to
me.
disagree
But what
That
if she
is
says
on
no?
a
What if she
point
tells you no, I
that
want you to
is.
step out, baby.
You
I
can
don't
be
do
as
it.
honest and
Then
tell
when
me
you
that,
listen.
but I'm being
Anyway.
honest and telling you how I feel. So what
She's
you gonna
being
do at
honest. I
that
don't
point?
want you
I'm
to.
telling you, no, I don't want to.
if-
I can't deal with that. What you
If
gonna
that's
do?
the case, that's fine.
No, but what are you
But
gonna
would you
do?
be willing to keep your high
If I'm
libido?
that honest with you,
To
then
ask
that
me.
means I'm not gonna go behind you and cheat, or I wouldn't have asked you to begin with. Think about it. That's the point I'm making about that type of integrity.
Okay.
That's the word. That's the key word here.
I don't understand.
The
I'm
level.
trying to wrap my head around something you said.
What?
You said, and I'm not attacking, I promise. You said, okay, so if I had some kind of physical illness or some situation where I couldn't perform, then I may consider it. What is the difference in that versus him saying, hey, for whatever reason, we're just not working out in terms of our sex life, and I want to go and try it somewhere else? What's
Because
the difference?
the difference with
Different
that
level.
is I can't do it. If there is nothing physically wrong with me, then there is nothing that we cannot do to experiment and get to the point to where we both have satisfaction sexually in that relationship. Whether it's me trying some things that I might not have thought of or might not have liked, whether it's that, hell, you might like anal. I'm like, oh no, I experienced that once in a different relationship and didn't like it. But hell, how was I to know if that first time you ain't know about no damn anal lube? You ain't know that, hey, a motherfucker get you wet enough that shit could be enjoyable. You didn't know these things because it wasn't with the right partner. So there's something that we can do if I'm physically capable to build to the point of figuring these things out. You want to role play? You want to, we going to go
Dress
and
up
do
and
this
do
and
all
dress
that.
up and
But you
you
know
going
what?
to
You know
approach
what?
me at the bar,
You know what?
whatever it
I think
is
that-
I can do. It's a difference between that and me being physically unable to do
But you wouldn't have the
anything
same
for you.
emotions. Like, regardless of how you got there, you wouldn't have the same emotions that you would have if they just stepped out on their own versus you being sick.
I don't have my same emotions that I did as a 19-year-old that I do now as
Fair
a
enough.
So that could be a
47-year-old
little
woman.
later in your work
It's a
life.
level that I'm
Another
growing
level.
on.
Yeah.
It's a part of the journey of my life. I can understand at this point just how important sex may be in a relationship, but I've also had the pleasure and the gift of understanding just how tight an emotional and mental bond can be and keep you with somebody even when the physical isn't there. Because even if you're married, I don't care what you say, you're going to go through some highs and lows within your physical relationship as far as whether it's satisfactory to you or not. Or I might have been feeling it at this point, he wasn't feeling it. He might have been feeling it at this point, I wasn't feeling it. But 9 times out of 10, unless it's something that was causing me an issue of pain, I wasn't finna tell you no. You tap me on my shoulder, nigga,
Let's go.
hey,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm finna turn over, and that's what it is, because I had that bond, but it also is a thing of you still know how to touch me. You still know what I like in that moment. So I might not quite be mentally there, but you might be able to get me there physically enough to where it's good. I might turn around and throw my ass up and you hit it from the back until you bust your nut and we good. You good. I might not even got a nut out of it. But you
'Cause that was
good.
all for you.
Because you good, I'm good. So let me go on and go wipe my ass and go to
I'm
sleep.
not arguing
I
against
think people,
companionship.
that's
I
a
think once
different
you get
marriage kind of
companionship,
vibe.
You won't have those kind of issues.
That everybody is not.
I feel that. Once
I
you're
feel her
companionship,
too because it's
you won't
different
have, that's not
levels.
even gonna be part of the
At this
conversation.
level,
Well,
damn, baby, I
exactly.
can still do something at this level.
But that's not what
My
you're
shit
talking
don't work
about.
At
no
this,
more.
yeah,
My shit
at
don't work no
this
more, so
level,
let's think
if
about it.
if there's a problem sexually, just like any other problem in your relationship, you work together to fix it together. You don't go
Yeah,
looking
that's-
for it somewhere else to solve a problem, because that's, to me, is just putting a band-aid on a symptom. You gotta find the deeper issue and fix it there, right between you two. And that's what I'm saying.
So this is well, the only reason I'm doing that whole breathe thing is because it's two different conversations. Quite honestly, it's a sex conversation, and then there's a relationship and sex inside of relationships and emotional and the whole thing. So it has to be billed as two separate conversations, simply because one involves 100% emotion, mental connection, that whole thing. I don't know if I'm emotionally barren. I know I'm not. I'm a writer. I got all the emotions. But I know that I'm not, it's just not in me. It's just not in me. Like I don't want to talk about it a whole lot. I want to have the conversations up front, and then I want to have like a check-in, like at our anniversary. We sit and we talk about it. Hey, I need you to step it up on this. Give me a little bit more of that. I need this. Bet. I need this, and this. Bet. Done. Break. And we go. And we operate and we move and we function. And then at the anniversary, we come back and we talk about it. Yes. Do I think that is realistic and that you're not going to have any problems of communicating and all of that different stuff along the way? It is unrealistic to not think that you're going to have a moment of talking about it. But I don't like to have all the time.
No, we ain't gotta have this conversation every time we lay it down and bust a nut. I might go through it 2 or 3 months.
I don't want to have.
This ain't gonna be no anniversary thing.
I don't want to have no every 3 weeks. I'm feeling like you're not paying attention to me. God.
No, I'm strictly ain't talking about paying attention. I'm talking about if we busting a nut or not. I mean, if you go and we're talking about sex on that level, it's not even an emotional thing. Did I get off? Did I get off? Yeah. Did you get off? That's what we talking about on a sexual level. Now, if we're just talking about sex as a subject. Now, if you're talking about relationships and what it entails with that, that's a whole different beast.
Absolutely.
But if we're just talking about the sexual component, nah, motherfucker, we ain't going no more past by 3-4 times. So I tell you, hey, I done got cheated the last several times. We done did this. I need to get mine. You finna put in work or what?
That's what's up.
So now, I ain't talking about the whole ooh boo, and you don't fulfill me. And first of all, you can't count, just like you said earlier, you can't count on anyone to give you your happiness or fulfillment. You have to find it for yourself. They can add to it. They can take away from level. They can take away from it. But ultimately, it's up to
That's
you
an internal choice.
Of your basic your internal choice, whether you finna be a miserable motherfucker over here all the time, or whether you finna sit and look and say, okay, let me look this shit happen in life. I done cried. I done sucked it up. Let me go. I don't want no whiny motherfucker that's always calling me because I ain't feeling like I said. I like sleep at this age. I do. I've come to understand.
I could be sitting wide awake and
like
looking at TikTok, for God's sake.
I might want
don't fucking call me. What? And if it's not scheduled,
gonna sit on the phone.
Then I swear to God, I know I'm weird, but I swear, man, that shit ain't scheduled. Like you ain't say, hey, I'm gonna hit you back tonight. Okay, that's the only way I'm looking for it.
That I need you to have some considerations. I gotta get up and be at work at 6:30 in the morning. I ain't got time for you to be thinking you finna be the midnight marauder. Nigga, I gotta get up in a couple of hours. I need rest. So I need you to come over here. Let's go hit this off, get this done, or whatever.
Hit that bottom lock, baby. Boo, you can turn that bottom lock when you leave. I get up, put the chain on. All right now.
Just add to it. What?
Right?
Oh no, you bet. Hey, you know you.
And I get accused all the time of people thinking that that's fake. That people think, it's fake. She just acting like that. Like she just want to be bad. She just want to seem like. I get it all the time. I swear to God, I get it all the time. You can let your guard down with me, baby. You don't got to be so tough. And listen, if I could, I would.
can't.
Right.
And
Right.
it's-
When you start taking the
I-
conversation there,
you
it's
haven't
no
given
longer
me
about
enough
sex.
to show
Well,
me
it's
that
about
I
sex.
Yeah.
should.
At
And
this
that's-
point.
that's when
Yeah.
you be like, hey man, if you got something else going on and
Right.
that kind of relationship start going that direction,
Right.
you need to cut that off. Now your woman has the right to chop your head off because you're taking a relationship somewhere
Right.
it's not supposed to go from day
Yeah.
one. You married.
I ain't got
Again,
time for you to try to be
you
friends
have
'cause
to
she
guard
got
your
kids and
grill
You
And
trying
and
to
protect
be,
your investment.
You gonna
Your
be a
investment
surrogate
is
daddy
at
and shit
home.
like
Right.
that and all of this because they got kids. If you fuck you, Captain Save-A-Ho.
Say, man, protect the bag. Listen, protect the bag, dog. If the bag, you have to protect the bag, right? If we have if this is us, and us is all this that we rocking, right? Because by this age, us need to be more than your job.
Right.
And one more time.
Us need to be more than your job. It has to be other side ventures, your other investments, things that we have come together on. And here we are, we making this big move, right? Because if we're not doing that, then at this age, I don't need you. I'm not raising children anymore.
Right.
I don't, you understand
Right.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, so the necessity for that shit is gone.
You know what somebody told me, and the older I get,
It is
I've come
gone.
to realize that the first time you marry for love. Second time you marry for security.
I
Third
feel
time
that.
you marry for companionship.
I feel
I've heard that before.
I feel
Yeah,
that.
I've heard something like that
I feel
before.
that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Because when you're
That's
young,
consistent with the
and
stages of
especially
life.
when you get your stage
Yeah.
of life, hey, I'm in love. Love can conquer all. We're gonna do this shit, and nobody can stop us.
Nope.
And then like come and
reality
slap
hit.
your ass a couple of times in the face about
And then you stop being 20s. You stop being 20s.
You wake up that
And-
morning at
and then
32,
you-
like, what the fuck is hurt? Why is this hurting? I don't. This
Mm-mm.
wasn't just hurting.
Oh my
Why
God,
is this
are you
hurting?
still breathing? God damn it! What the fuck? You snoring? I'm tired. Good Lord, we all 30. Why are you still pissing on the side of the toilet? I don't understand.
You still breathing, nigga?
Say, man,
I
Sorry.
know. I
Sorry.
know. I know your mama had to teach you something.
oh my God, after the struggle, and the real part, this is what the good shit is about being in your 40s, especially if you had kids early. Like, I had my first child when I was 20, so I was done. She was 20 when I was 40, so I've been having a funky fucking good time
Say word.
in my 40s because they are not tied now to anybody. So I don't have to consider anyone in any of the choices that I make,
Right.
which makes sex so liberating. It makes everything that I do extra liberating, right?
Yeah.
Because it's choice. Every single fucking thing I do is all about
You.
me. And I'm okay with that at this phase because I can.
Right.
And everybody can't get there.
If I chose to be like that, I could. My thing is other responsibilities of, damn, I'm in my 40s, and my boy knows as soon as I was like, damn, this is a whole new world. And
Right?
then parents.
Mm.
And then, and it was like, okay, damn, right when I figured, all I got to worry about is me. Now I have to consider my parents and making sure they good and they're taken care of. Once I got the adult kid, the kids are adults now.
Mhm.
You're legal. Get the hell out. You're good. I done did everything I could do, but then I turn around. But so just listening to you and hear you say, I was like, yeah, I get what you're saying as far as let me focus in on a sexual level. If I chose to, yeah, that's what it is. I don't care. I ain't got to worry about your feelings.
Yeah, man,
and
that's
all
liberating.
this and that. If I, wanted to work that way, but again, it also depends on the kind of person you are. Like you say, hey, I ain't throwing it out to everybody. I'm exclusive shit.
Yes.
Usually, if I'm screwing with, I'm not messing
No.
with
I'm
anybody
extremely-
else.
and
I'm
I'm not-
old school. We go together.
And the thing is
If
that-
I
We
gave you the
go
pussy,
together.
I'm old school. If I gave you the
Not
pussy,
the
we
hunch.
we go together. It says I'm only hunching you
You know
now.
what? That might be different for men because I had a child when I was 20,
Mm-hmm.
but I've always felt sexually liberated. I didn't give a fuck.
It
As
is
long
different
as
for
I'm taking care
me.
of my kid, I can do whatever I
Well, yeah,
want anyways.
but the
Not to a
sole
point where I might get
priority
killed.
of being the nurturer, the
Right.
example, the mother. There's a whole different, especially if you got daughters.
Right.
You can't. And I didn't date. Once I divorced, I never dated again because my daughter and my son had gotten to the age where if somebody had bad intentions, you know what I'm saying, that I couldn't trust it because that's when you start leaving them alone because you want to do this, you going to do that, right? And so I was never comfortable enough in the idea of somebody being left alone with my children. I'm never, and I'm not gonna ever be. I'm not cool with my daughter dating now because of my grandkids. I just don't like it. I don't want her to be a single woman. You know what I'm saying? Be a single
But
parent.
you're
but
concerned about who you have.
I don't
around
know.
them.
And people will show their representative and get in. Once it's done, it's done.
Right.
You cannot unbreak a plate, right?
Yep.
Once it's
Right.
broken, it's broken and it's shattered. And you can piece it together, you can do whatever, but now you're dealing with a broken person that you're trying to raise. So my whole idea was that the only way 100% I can guarantee that it didn't
Not
come
to
from
have
behind
anybody
this
around.
door
Yeah.
is to make sure that nobody was in here.
Yeah.
What did that do? It hardened me. But it also let me know that the necessity is not there.
Yeah.
Right.
And with us,
So now I'm operating on pure desire. And if you are not desirable, I don't. It has eliminated that connectivity gene for me,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
But you
Because
know-
if the desire fades, nigga, you fade.
Right.
And that's why relationships for me don't last longer than I haven't been in anything longer than 3 to 6 months max.
4 easily.
And I get you can kind of sort of reach the same plateau to different ways because like where you at, your kids were still teenagers. They were still
No, my
young.
marriages lasted what 3 years and
Okay,
5
I was gonna say,
years.
damn.
And see, with versus my 25 years, both of my kids were adults and of age and out the house by the time we split.
Mm.
You know, the oldest had already finished college. The other one was in the Navy by the time we split.
Mm.
But funny enough, even with that, I still had to look at the dynamics of anybody new coming around my kids, especially my daughter, because all you saw all your life were
Mm.
your mama and your daddy together. So for anyone else to come in to that picture and to come into that equation even as an adult, it was initially really shaking a ground or a foothold.
Mhm.
And it's not me to date this and this, and even at the point I ain't even finna let you know at that point it was a minute before you even knew I was
Yeah.
at a point of
When I-
talking to this person.
When I first got divorced and my kids were ranging in ages from say like teenagers, so about 15, 16, I think the oldest was at the time, and my youngest was probably like 8 or 9. But during that time, even though I was dating, never met. Never. You're not going to meet anybody I'm dating, not unless I'm considering getting married again. And that didn't happen, so you never met any of them. You might hear me talk about them after the fact, you know, after they've already gone and moved on, but around my kids, no. Mm-mm. For
See,
what?
I was different. I would, they would meet who I dated, but only because I knew this person was okay to introduce them to my children.
Yeah.
You know, if
You've already
if
screened
they
them
did,
and-
it was just somebody I went and had sex with, came home.
Yeah.
They don't need to know that shit. But it's somebody that I think we might have something. I want you to meet my child because I don't want you to all of a sudden be.
I wanna
Damn,
see
you got
how
a kid? I can't be with no man with no. And
But
I just
even with
lost
that,
And
it.
that's
I wanna
another
see-
thing.
I
Like
would wanna see how
I
you would
have
interact
different
to
laughing
know
at me all the
whether or
time about
not-
that. I don't date
I
men
even
with
want to
children.
go further
Right.
with you
Right.
because, in all honesty, my kids are gonna come first, and I
Right.
never deal with.
Right.
So
And
I'd
you can't
rather
deal with
know
no
kind of early whether or not y'all can even deal with
Right.
each other
Right.
to a point other than the normal adult. And, oh my God, you know that little directive or whatever else. But ultimately,
I
my
never
kids
need
can't
to go
work.
through that process because it doesn't. I don't want to be with a person that I have to share. Now I do know what I don't share well is time. If I want to be with you, I don't give a fuck what the problem is. That's why I don't date men with children because I don't want to feel guilty when.
You put that demand on.
Yup. I don't want to feel guilty and I don't want to care. So I don't want to have to care that it's their birthday and this, that, and the other. Not that I'm a heartless bitch, But I love kids. I have all kinds of children's organs. This is what I do, right? But I also know me. And I know that when I slow down and I call you, I don't care that you got the kids and that you can't cause they got school in the morning and you rather sit and talk to me on the phone, or can you come over here and be real quiet and sneak in here?
No.
I'm not doing all that, baby. I'm not doing that. Cause I just got tickets to Miami for the weekend and we out. I don't know.
If it's not a job
got to be that. I mean, if you could pull that off with kids, you're amazing and you're the one.
Right.
But I never know them because I don't want to be involved like that.
They say hindsight is 20/20, right?
Mhm.
So what we're talking about when we getting back on sex, do you feel like if you have sex with the person that you're dating, that you should do that before you get married so you know what you're getting into, or you shouldn't have sex before you get married?
Hell yeah.
In all honesty, yeah, I got to know what the fuck coming because I can't.
Yeah.
I don't need no surprises. I need to know what we working with.
Yeah, I don't want no surprises. What you do, I respect you, and I respect your whole thing about it, but I don't want to be surprised and you have a 2-inch dick. There's nothing you can do for me to work with that.
That
I'm
whole
sorry,
no sex before
so it ain't no
marriage
point in me
thing
getting attached emotionally.
was started by dudes who was afraid to be laughed at by women who might know what the hell is going on.
I said it earlier.
You know what I'm saying? That's all that was. There was no reason for that because it makes no sense when you think about it. It's illogical. I'm gonna tie myself to somebody for the rest of my life, which is, what the vows of marriage is supposed to be. But I have no clue about a very important aspect of this relationship because we're not allowed to touch each other beforehand. What kind of sense does that make? That's like saying, I'm going to make,
I thought I said this when we was on the phone. We had to meet the last
They
time.
actually do work. They work best because what happens is that's why arranged marriages, they don't have sex before they get married.
Right, you just said
And that's why those marriages last so long, because what they have to consciously do is they have to take it away from romance and focus on companionship. And when you do that, you find more commonalities in that relationship. So the physical becomes something that's, okay, I would like to have it, but if I don't, it ain't a deal breaker.
Well,
But most of us,
And arranged
Usually
marriages
in
are
an
arranged
arranged
for
marriage-
security. And
Yeah,
that
and
again,
usually
if you're in a security situation, then of course you move different. You operate differently, right?
And usually in an arranged marriage, when you're not even beforehand really getting to necessarily know this person for who they are, because your family or your parents arranged this, they are the ones doing the negotiations.
absolutely.
You have these dates where your whole family is involved. You never really get to know this person
I'm already
and
Cameron.
who
That's a
they
fucking
are
shame. My bad.
necessarily
We are.
beforehand
You
until
good.
after you're thrown into the situation after marriage anyway, because you've had somebody monitoring everything you're doing beforehand. You may have some arranged marriages that have worked, but a lot of times a woman is brainwashed from the time she's born that this is what it is and you have to accept that.
Yeah. A lot of times those marriages work because of the social pressure that is involved with them. When you don't feel like you have the option to walk away from it, then you're going to stay. You're going to find a way to make it work because you don't have any other choice, or you feel like you don't have any other choice. But I'm not saying that it can't work for the good in some situations, but I think a lot of that is more people putting social pressure on those couples to stay together. No, you're not allowed to break up or do this, whatever. And I guarantee you have a lot of people who cheat in those relationships. It just doesn't get talked about.
It's like looking at Coming to America.
Hmm.
The king and the queen. This was an arranged marriage, and you heard her specifically say, "I learned to love him," and that's what you get in a lot of arranged marriages, because as a woman, most of the time in those cases, you have the least power of anyone within that situation. So you learn to put up with, you learn to accept, you learn to love, and in some cases it does work out, but a lot of times these women are miserable because they never got to know who they were or who they would be for themselves, or either they had to pull back on who they could be or what they wanted to do for themselves due to their family pressures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true.
I'm not gonna cut y'all down, but.
Yeah, we're about to hit.
Yeah, we're finna hit the 2 hour mark.
Man. So listen, I will appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate all of the comments, even though we wasn't really reading. We were so into the conversation. But we appreciate y'all, man. We are gonna go back and read them. You know, if there's any comments that we see that really stand out, we'll address them on the next show.
I
You
mean,
know what
we
I'm
plan
saying?
on also continuing a series of
Oh,
sex,
yes,
so
most
we'll
definitely.
talk about other things that
It's
involve
gonna be a
sex.
part.
Yeah.
It's a big,
It's
big.
going to be a part two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it'd be
you
a
know,
whole
I
bunch of
mean,
parts.
sex is a huge topic,
So
man.
many
So
different things
definitely,
that-
yeah, this is just the door opener.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm trying to get rid of the
when we
perverts
talk
over here.
about it, like preface it, like
Yeah.
this is sex in relationships and
Yeah.
sex
Yeah.
in
Most definitely.
Yeah,
That's
because this is
exactly.
gonna
That's
single
so
exactly
life
what
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
and
That's
sex.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is just like
Just
the
the
Yeah.
opener. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Just
saying?
the introduction.
Because
to that.
exactly, because you know, sex in relationships is 100% different,
Right.
and it has a different connotation. So talking about it in those two different perspectives, you kind of bump, and you don't really get the fullness of a conversation. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
And we will be having the freaky show too when we talk about
Most
sex.
definitely. What's
It's
up,
just gonna
Joy?
be
What's up,
straight
Joy?
erotica.
What's up, Lavelle?
You know,
Appreciate
Oh,
y'all,
yeah,
man.
thank
Appreciate y'all for
That's
being here,
joy,
man.
Yeah.
Most definitely. But listen, man, we appreciate y'all for staying with us, man, and sitting here listening to this wonderful conversation and chilling with us. I am Big Ruck.
I'm Brother Los, and thank you to our guests.
Absolutely. Thank y'all
Most
so
definitely.
much.
Thank y'all for being
Thank
here.
y'all for
This
having
will
us.
not be the last time, man. We appreciate y'all one more time, and we are the Daily Smoke, and we are out.
Peace. Weed time.